brain has pretty much exploded thinking too much about this topic. When I ask myself, is it okay to ban 16 and under from social media? Because that's what the current government have proposed. They're going to ban kids under 16 from getting on social media. Now, I've sat here staring at the wall, reading Reddit, reading comments on the Sydney Morning Herald, and I just find it's because on one hand, I want kids to be completely protected from all the perils that come with going online, but also the opportunities and the benefits of going online are also lost when you ban anyone from anything. Here's a couple of things that I want to raise with you. Firstly, I am 38 years old. The closest thing I had to social media, the Snake game on my Nokia. Right? Phones were a mobile phone was a luxury. Like, you were somebody if you had a mobile phone. When I was graduating high school, and I had one, and it was just like, it made phone calls and text messages, and you had to, like, if you wanted to write a text message, you had to push like 3339955 dot space 0444444 just to get, like, it took you a fucking eternity, and you became so skilled at the art of texting via number. Just those who are my age know exactly what I'm talking about. Right now, you just tap A and you get A. That didn't exist when I was a kid, right? So I never had social media. And I am very grateful for that fact because I did not enjoy high school. I got through it. Everything was fine. But I put my head down at school and I kept to myself. And then when I got home, I was free to live the life that I wanted to. Look, I will say I was very fortunate. I had 2 wonderful parents and I had 3 brothers who I ignored pretty much most of the time. Did we fight? Would you call putting the hose on them after it's been sitting in the sun and showering them in boiling water fighting? Or would you just call that being an older sadistic brother? What I'm trying to say is I didn't have to worry about what people were saying about me online. And I would have fucking stressed. People would have been talking about the little gay kid that keeps to himself, that's put on a bit of weight, that's really just fucking ugly. I was an ugly teen. I was really disgusting. I look at myself and go, you know what? I can't say that. My parents let me go for walks late at night because I was so ugly. They were like, no one's stopping their van to kidnap our son. Stop, don't, Christian, don't. So I don't talk from a place of experience. I don't know what the benefits of social media would be when you're at school, when you take the schoolyard home with you, because that's essentially what I think social media is. The bullying can just follow you wherever you go. But in saying that, social media also offers an opportunity for people to find their crowd. I didn't have a crowd. I had one person who I sort of connected with throughout school, and she has gone on to be my best friend of all time. And I think with social media, I may have discovered groups. I may have learned a lot more about myself. I may be able to talk with people who were also in the closet or dealing with things, or just, to be able to read about stuff online. I guess you can still read about it, but the problem is Reddit social media? Because that's like a forum. That's where people go to discuss things. There's a lot on Reddit that is, radicalizing people. Like, the problem is, here's what I see the problem with social media and the internet as a whole. It's easy to manipulate groups of people. It's easy to radicalize someone. And then the algorithms just put you in this niche. Like, if I watch one Donald Trump video, right, and I watch it to the end out of sheer disdain and fascination for what I think is going to happen under his presidency, I'm now getting more Donald Trump videos served to me. And I'm watching them. And, that's essentially how you start to be persuaded through whatever lies or whatever bullshit. And to be fair, it's the same for most political parties. They say shit and then you just fall into this trap. Now, as an adult, I totally understand that trap. As a kid, do they really care about politics at that age? I'm sure some of them do. I understand that the internet is a big, scary place and predators can connect with you easily. I recently saw a TikTok, and again, the benefits of TikTok is it informed me that in the UK, there was this fucking crazy guy, I think he was in his 30s, and he convinced, they reckon, possibly 3,000 young girls under the age of 15 to send naked photos of themselves to him, and as soon as he got them, he blackmailed them into sending more, into doing things, so much so that one young girl took her own own life, and the family had no idea why. And it was because she was being blackmailed by this guy. Now, this was on Snapchat. Fuck Snapchat right off. I completely think kids should not have... Snapchat is where you can say something and it gets deleted, never to be seen again. You can send photos, right? Oh, but it tells me if he took a screenshot. No, you just need to take a photo of the... Like, anyways, the internet is fucking scary. Do I think the government stepping in and banning anyone under 16 is too much? Yes, I do. Do I think we have to start somewhere and maybe scale it back a bit? Yeah. It's like, I'm for the idea of this. I just don't think banning kids under 16 is the answer. And I thought about it a little bit. If you're banning kids under 16, what happens to family vlogging? That's a real grey area. We also haven't got any laws in place for kids who are in family vlogs, because the family vlogs are earning fuckloads of money. Where is that money going? Because technically the kids are working, and then the kids are working, but it's also family time. So then that blurs the line of, are you a business or are you family? And then there's a lot of fucking irresponsible parents who, oh, what's that? Ren Eleanor. Fuck me. I think she's seen the light and she stopped posting her daughter, but it was insane to me, the stuff that she was doing. It was basically, I believe, a single mother filming her young daughter, who was like 2, 3, 4, 5, I think throughout those years, in very sexualized situations. And it was just rife for predators. And the views were astronomical and the saves were gross. I encountered recently someone who was filming themselves and their child. They were a well-known person, and they were doing take after take after take. And I was watching this happen and I just was like, this poor kid who was being held by the parent doing take after take after take was like, oh, I'm so bored. Like, can we go? And then the parent was like, oh, no, we just got to, just big smiles, big smiles. And I was just like, oh, this day out has turned into work for this small child. Anyway, I'm getting really, really off topic here. Banning kids off of social media, I just don't think is gonna work. And granted, Anthony Albanese has said there's going to be many pitfalls to this plan, but they've just got to instigate something. And I agree that something has to happen. And maybe this law will help parents be able to, I don't know, kids are fucking scary. Teenagers are fucking scary. I couldn't argue with one. I get why parents are scared of their own children, but at some point you have to be responsible and you have to say, fucking delete, you're not getting Snapchat. No, you can't be on X. Like, you know what you can have? You know how there's YouTube Kids? Could there be like Instagram Kids? I'm sure no 15-year-old wants to be on Instagram Kids, but is there something where these platforms, you know, go through and they only approve not even verified profiles, just celebrity profiles? You know, because kids want to be entertained. You can't just take them. Like, YouTube is technically, I would say, it's a social media platform. If they're wanting to tackle bullying, I don't think removing them off social media is the answer. If they're wanting to tackle like radicalization, manipulation, you know, sexual exploitation, all of that, then yes, I understand removing kids under 16 from social media. But it's like, we take lessons when we're younger to drive a car. Obviously, driving a car is not as emotional as being online, but it's a scary thing. And your parents sits with you and they scream at you everything that you're doing wrong, and you learn how to drive a car. What's the rules in New Zealand? 150 hours. You have to sit with your parent for 150 hours and learn to drive. Fill out a logbook, do all the checks, and then you can go do a test, and then you're free to go for a drive on your own. Imagine my parents, they had 4 kids, and mum was, none of us wanted to drive with mum. I mean, bless her, but she couldn't cope with how we drove. She kept gripping the sides of the seat and flinching, and it really used to annoy me. Mum, I'm stopped at a red light. Why are you flinching? We're not even moving. She's like, oh, the anticipation of what you're going to do. And so I'd be like, I just want Dad to take me for a lesson. So Dad had to do like 450, 500 hours of driving with his children. Oh, poor Dad. But then you're given a license and then you go forth into the world of driving. Why don't we teach shit in school? I love history. I love it. When the fuck have I ever needed it or used it? Where are the real world lessons in schools? Granted, it's been 20 years. This is my 20th year. Graduated in 2004. Oh God, that's disgusting. And I have absolutely no idea if anything is different in schools, if things are taught differently. Do they have social media education? Like, I remember, what was it called? Home economics? No, home ec? Well, it was cooking. I feel like cooking, tick, needed skill. Woodworking, Religion, fucking in the fucking bin. Put it in the fucking bin. Replace religion with social economics. and teach kids about the pros and cons of alcohol consumption, of vaping. Use that time to instigate classes. Now, obviously, getting through to teenagers, fuck that. Like, impossible. Like, I would be like, oh, okay, be careful on social media. I'll do what I want. But I feel like arming them with some knowledge that everyone is out to fucking get you, be aware, is very powerful. And teaching them and showing them and talking about what crazy fucking men do on these platforms is probably a great start. I read a comment that said, oh, how are they going to police it? There'll be workarounds. Obviously, there'll be workarounds. You're not allowed to drink under the age of 18, yet we all did, okay? I may have had a sip of wine and went, that's disgusting. I don't want alcohol at all. And I haven't really enjoyed alcohol since. But my other friend was very into the having a wine or two when they were definitely under 18. Like, it is there. But I think the policing of it, the policing of alcohol is probably a lot easier than the policing of social media. But who is responsible for the policing of alcohol? It's the stores that sell the alcohol. Like, Facebook's fucked. They're all fucked. They're all just fucking money-hungry pieces of shit. It shouldn't be the government or the schools or the parents' sole responsibility to instigate a safe environment on social media for our kids. It really needs to be up to Facebook, Meta. But then, obviously, how are they going to do it? How are they going to do it? They've got fucking billions of dollars. They can fund the things in schools. My ultimate answer is, I don't know. I don't know about this ban. I just think taking something away, I don't think this is a long-term solution. Because then, social media is just such a huge part of everyday life. Well, it is for me. My job is social media. So I'm on it constantly all the fucking time. But also, I go out for a wander and parents are on it constantly all the fucking time. Their kids notice that shit. Oh, Daddy's not paying attention to me because he's on his phone. I can't wait till I get a phone. That's literally what you're saying to your kid. I'd rather be flicking through TikToks than watching you play. Do you remember being a kid and being like, Mom, look at me, Mom, look at me. And you do the most boring, mundane thing, like jump into the pool. And then you get out of the pool, you're like, Mom, look at me, look, watch. And then you jump into the pool again. And you get out, Mom, you weren't watching, watch! Poor Mum, she's gonna be like, yes, I'm watching you jump into a fucking pool, this is so boring. Not only are you having to fight for their just general attention, but with this, constantly doing this, like, I feel for kids growing up. Anyways, it's fun being a 38-year-old with no children and no responsibilities. I don't know what to do. I get both sides of the argument.